I don't know about you, but my family loves pulled pork. Now, some of us like it plain, and some of us like it with our favorite barbecue sauce. But either way, we really enjoy it. And I wanted to can pulled pork. And I looked, and there's actually 3 different ways you could can it. You could can it dry, no juice at all. You could can it in its original juices, or you can can it in barbecue sauce. And so I decided to do an experiment. I'm going to can it all 3 different ways and see which our family likes the best. First, I'm going to show you how my husband makes his famous pulled pork in his beloved green egg. Start with a good quality pork butt. Next, my husband massages his favorite rub, which is strawberries, barbecue, shake-on seasonings, and he puts it on all surfaces of the meat. Then it's time to cook it in his green egg. He cooks it initially at 250 degrees for an hour and a half at maximum smoke using applewood chips. At this time, it is completely unwrapped. After an hour and a half, he wraps the meat snugly with aluminum foil but leaves a little vent at the top, and again cooks it at 250 degrees in his green egg for another 4 to 5 hours. So are we done yet? No, we are not. Now the meat is then transferred to our slow cooker, juice and all, and cooked for another 6+ hours. It's important to have a slow cooker that fits the meat well so the juice completely covers the meat. After 4 to 5 hours, the meat is removed from the slow cooker and drained, and the juice is kept to add back, and then it easily falls apart with a fork. And boy, is it delicious. Now let's look at the 3 different jars and the canning process. I packed 6 pint jars, 2 of the pulled pork in barbecue sauce, 2 of the pulled pork in its own juices, and 2 of the pulled pork completely dry, no juices added. Got your jars filled? Now you just want to wipe your rims. I do it with a little vinegar on it. Takes away, especially if there's any fat or any problem. I got a little messy with the barbecue sauce. I probably should have used a funnel. And now it's time to add your lids. And I've warmed them slightly. Stick them together. Next, screw on your lids, finger tight. You could be preheating your pressure canner. Make sure you put in the amount of water that it says to put in. On my pressure canner, it's 1.5 inches. And now it's just time to put your jars in. If you have an American pressure canner like mine, make sure that you have oiled your rim so your cover won't stick. There are some stories out there they couldn't get the cover back off. So you always want to do that periodically. Make sure you hold this up to the light and that your vent hole is clear. You can see the light through it, or you can put a wire through it to make sure also. Put on your cover. So I always half tighten the screws and then tighten them good when I get all sides on. Okay, so now you want to give them a good tight screw there. And now we're going to wait until that vent starts sputtering. You probably can't see it, but you should be able to hear the steam coming out of the little vent. Every once in a while you'll see a little sputter sputter. Once that happens, you want to set your timer for 10 minutes and then you're going to put on the weight. Time to put on the weight. For my elevation, it's 10 pounds. Your elevation may be different. Pressure has now reached 10 pounds, and it's time to set our timer. I'm doing pints, so it's 75 minutes. If you're doing quarts, which I don't really recommend, for me, it would be 90 minutes. Our little weight will periodically do a little jiggling motion. I call it the pressure can jig. And all you have to do is turn your burner off. We'll just have to wait now until the gauge goes down to 0, which usually is a half hour or longer. The pressure gauge is now below 0, so now we can take off the weight. Now I wait at least another 5 minutes before I actually take the cans out of the pressure canner. Can you hear them popping? Good sign. It's time to take out your cans. Don't they look nice? I'll leave them alone for 24 hours. It looks like all of them have already sealed. And then I'll take off the rings and I'll put on the label. And now the best part, the taste tests. Our first test is testing the pulled pork that was packed in barbecue sauce versus the pulled pork that was packed dry. Well, it's been about 4 months since I actually canned this pork, and now it's time to try it out in the family and see which one they like best. Now for the family taste test. I'll be right back with the results. The winner definitely was the pulled pork packed in the barbecue sauce. It was delicious. The other pork was just a bit dry. Texture was okay, but it just wasn't as good as the pulled pork in barbecue sauce. This is the final pulled pork can that we have to try. This one is the pulled pork with the actual juice. So let's see how it tastes. Definitely delicious, very, very moist, of course, being in the juice, and it isn't too salty. I'm surprised. I was afraid it might be. It's either this way or the barbecue sauce that's my favorite. I had my family vote and myself to decide which way we liked it best canned. And we all came to the same conclusion that we really liked it canned in its own juices or in barbecue sauce. When it was canned dry, it was just a little dry, and it would have been fine in certain maybe enchilada recipes or something like that. But for on a bun, it was either the barbecue sauce or canned in its own juices. And I love that pulled pork tastes the same if it's fresh or if you've canned it and processed it for 90 minutes. And that's a rare thing in canning meat. So pulled pork to me is definitely a thumbs up for pressure canning. I hope you found this video useful. If you like it, also give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe and share the knowledge. Thank you very much.